Hello, it's your Boxing Steve. How are you, sir?
Getting ready to fucking fight. Let's go. Oh, wait. We can't monetize if we swear in the first minute. Shit.
Well,
I fucked it already.
good thing we don't worry about monetizing this. Because...
I know, right?
Anyway, this is the Should I Play This Game podcast 288 for the 16th of October 2023. Steve's obviously in fighting form. Obviously,
yeah.
therefore you're better. Is that the upshot of all that?
That would be fucking hard. I actually managed to make it through a full week of work.
Wow. Well, impressive. Yeah, you.
I know, right?
Right. We've got a fair bit to go through. We've got a couple of weeks worth of games. I've got to do a bit of a PAX review.
Yes.
So we'll do that. And then we've got a couple of videos we're going to record gaming-wise, because there's a whole bunch of stuff out on the... is this the second one of the Steam Next?
It is the second Steam Next Fest of the year.
So a couple of games have actually... we're at PAX Australia. We're also in the Steam Next Fest, which is kind of neat. That's cool. So a couple of those we'll cover briefly.
I also have I did a checkout that had about 6 or 7 different demos in them, and a couple of demos came up in Friday Night Fun.
Oh, okay. Cool.
The last couple of weeks. So if people I haven't included almost all of those demos in the list of games I'm going to talk about in a sec.
Mm-hmm.
But if you hit the YouTube channel, look at the last maybe couple of weeks worth of Friday Night Fun. There will be quite a great many demos in there, because quite a few came out before the Next Fest as well. There was the Realms Deep thing that 3D Realms did, or what the shell of 3D Realms, or the renamed company that now is calling themselves 3D Realms. So yeah, been looking at demos a whole bunch the last, 3 weeks or so. But
right, first up, your games.
Yes.
So let's go to figure out what I do. Do that, and then we do that. Hey, look at that.
Oh, it's around the right. The order's wrong. Oh, who cares? There it is. Oh man, I got really confused for a second, because that what was just on screen, I literally did finish up doing about 40 to 50 minutes ago at the time of recording. Yeah, Viewfinder. I finished it.
Nice.
I used a bit of a guide to get basically the rest of the achievements. The achievements in that thing are so cool. Like the things that they ask you to do to get the achievements and stuff like that. It is really interesting, really cool, and really, really clever. So I
like achievements that aren't just complete this mission, which everybody's got to do.
Yeah.
I prefer achievements that are, do this in a particular way, or don't, sort of environmental things that you're not necessarily going to, necessarily do just as a course of playing it. But if you stumble across them, they're really cool. Yeah.
Or if you look up a guide, because a lot of the unusual achievements are hidden or secret achievements.
Oh, okay.
So there's plenty of guides that sort of point out what they are and how to get them and stuff like that. So that even though, yes, I used a guide to get to them, I still think they were really, really interesting. The last level I found relatively rough in a couple of spots. I'm like, the fuck am I doing? That it was one of the few puzzles that wasn't tied to achievements I actually needed to look up.
Okay.
Because the actual mechanic of what it wanted you to do, I couldn't make sense of. Because I knew the basic conceit that it wanted me to hit, but trying to actively do that, I'm like, how the fuck does it want me to do this? Oh, wait, nah. I figured it out. The last part of that story, man, makes no fucking sense whatsoever. It gets into this whole simulation sort of business and all this sort of weird shit, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was just here taking photos and looking at shit. Yeah, the story isn't... I don't think the story in that thing's great. It's more about the experience of solving the puzzles, the visuals of it, and that sort of stuff that make that game really, really interesting and really cool.
Yeah, there's no... To say there's a story in there is probably a little bit overstating it. Like there's nothing giving you like an actual cutscenes or anything like that to sort of drive an...
Oh, there is towards the end.
Oh, towards the end is okay, cool.
Yeah. The actual following in the footsteps of because each of the 5 worlds, or each of the 5
Hub world,
realms or whatever you want.
hub
Yeah,
areas,
whatever you want to call it. The hubs. Thank you. The hubs is the word I was looking for. Thank you, me, for thinking of that.
Yeah.
When you're going into each of those hubs and you're basically following the footsteps of the designers and the different people before you, that stuff's really interesting.
Yeah, that stuff's really cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. But the overarching thing of, hey, climate change, it's fucked and we're trying to find a way to fix it. Oh, fuck, we couldn't fix it. And not only couldn't we fix it, we also broke it and made it way worse.
You just spoiled it for me. Thank you. Well done. I've not finished it.
That doesn't. All I've told you is the core conceit. That doesn't tell you exactly how.
Doesn't matter. It's all good. Just chin. On to the next game.
Next game before Steve ruins it even more. Turbo Overkill. This came out of early access earlier this year. You are a dude who is a cyborg who has a chainsaw in his leg, and you slide around the. And you can slide around the place and cut fools in half with the chainsaw leg.
Okay.
That part's really cool. It seemed to have like 5 endings before the actual ending.
Oh, okay. It's one of those games, isn't it? Okay.
They could have ended that thing like 5 different times. One of the end bosses had at least 5 different variants or 5 different versions or stages that you worked your way through. Some of them were way more fucked than others. When it all comes together and you get the flow of slide, kick up, bust off shotgun shells and stuff like that, that's all really, really entertaining, really fun, fluid. It has a great look to it. But there's some levels and some fights in there that are way better conceptually than they are execution-wise. There's one it's sort of much narrower and it takes place on a series of like hovering cars and sort of trains and road trains. On this sort of hover highway. And the idea is really, really cool, but jumping from car to car in between getting shot and having really limited space to move sort of takes the steam out of it a little bit. But overall, really, really fun. It is probably up there with one of the better kinds of that sort of classic style shooter that's come out this year, but really there's been quite a few of them. And I would not put many of them, if any of them, up in a kind of upper echelon, so to speak. But still really, really enjoyable. I dug it.
Just what caught my eye was the fact that the Podgies, the developer, that company's been around.
Yeah, Apogee. Yeah,
been around for
publisher. Are they publisher or developer?
They're publisher.
Publisher.
Yeah, they've been around for.
Yeah, Apogee still exists.
They've been around for like 30 years. Like 30 years they've been around for.
I don't know if it's actual Apogee or if it's the same thing as like THQ Nordic and 3D Realms, where some company bought the rights to the name and then are now using it.
Looking based on what's on Steam, like the games that they have made in the past are listed on Steam as being made by them, sort of thing. So I think it is the original.
Like Commander Keen.
Well, that's not on here, but like the Rise of the Triad is on the list, and that was a game that was from decades ago.
That was definitely an Apogee game back in the day.
Yeah, so I think it is just that company. Yeah. All
right. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is the arse game that is in the Deep Rock Galactic universe, the auto-shooting survival game. Borrows elements of Deep Rock where you're doing mining in between the auto-shooting. I played the demo for that for Friday Night Fun. Ended up playing that for a good 50 minutes of the actual show, and then once the show finished, I ended up playing it for another hour or 2. With just like no progress carries over. So I just kept going. I was like, no. Once you get to hazard level, like deeper hazard levels, particularly 2, the weapons didn't seem to do much damage-wise. Or at least they didn't seem to scale, or the health of the bugs and the monsters seemed to scale way faster than the actual damage the guns were doing, making it way harder to actually do than perhaps it should have been, because there's like 5 hazard levels, and 2 seemed like an impossibility because of the way damage and health were scaling. So there is a thread on the Steam discussion boards where a lot of people are basically going, yo, this is fucked. This is not work. Like Hazard 1, absolutely fine, absolutely doable. Hazard 2, nah, busted.
Interesting. So, it's a demo. Well, it's in.
Is
it early access or not even out yet?
No, it's not out yet. It's
Not
coming out in early access, I believe, November-ish,
Okay,
off the top of my head.
well, that's it.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time to balance it. That's
But
cool. Yeah.
I spent a good 10, 15 minutes trying to kite a bunch of enemies around, trying to just like shoot them and pick them off. And nothing was like very little of the actual massive swarm that was following me was getting picked off or killed at all. It was just a war of attrition that I just wasn't winning at all.
Okay.
So that was kind of a bother. Next up, if this thing maintains what I got out of the demo I played again on Friday, not this week, just gone last week's Friday Night Fun episode, this will be one of the biggest surprises of 2023. RoboCop Rogue City. No RoboCop game has been good. Every RoboCop game has been fucking shit in varying degrees. This shouldn't work or be as entertaining as it is. But it actually is really, really fun. It's slow, like your movement speed is really slow because you're RoboCop. But like they got Peter Weller for the voice.
Oh, really? Did they?
They at least got yeah. That dude's like over 70 now, so like that's the heroes of our 80s and 90s action movies are going to be passing in the next few years. And it's going to be really fucking sad.
Yeah.
It's really slow because again, RoboCop moves slowly, but like the shooting feels really good, and you can like they do a bunch of interactivity stuff that's really interesting. You can run up and grab enemy like gang members by the throat in the first mission and huck them out of windows. Or you pick up like CRT monitors and throw them at them. It's like they got at least the models for the sidekick officer whose name is escaping me, and the main cop on the main desk. But he passed away some years ago, so they don't have his voice. But like there's open areas where you're wandering around picking up side missions, and like even like you finish the first mission, go back to the police station, you're walking around and there's cops like, yo, these dickheads stole my flash grenades. Can you go and hit them up and get them back for me? Or you go in like shooting ranges and there's a dickhead from OCP who's just as big a dickhead, if not more, than the dudes from the film. Like they used Nuke from, it's set between RoboCop 2 and 3. So it has Nuke.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Literally one of the first things you see is like the gang members take over a TV station and there's a cop like duct taped up and he's like, oh, hey, officer such and such, you're going to try some Nuke. And then the cop goes, and falls face forward and basically dies from overdose. But like the actual gameplay feel of it, like the shooting of enemies and stuff like that, is way better than you'd have any expectation of it being. It looks really. It's $75 for on like launch price, which I think is too high.
Yeah, I was going to say, like that's probably the only thing, because I've heard some relatively good things about this game prior to the demo release and the upsell, because I heard about it that it was they sort of got from the main thing I heard from most of the reviews was that they got the fact that essentially he's an unstoppable machine against most regular human enemies, for the want of a better term. Once you start getting up against the automated turret machines that are around in that world, you're a little bit, bit more, got actually to be more distracted, a bit more vulnerable. But they got that shooting of let's just go fleshy body people. You've got that. They got that nailed down because you should be literally unstoppable against that kind of enemy because you're a freaking tank basically. So they got that right, was what I sort of heard.
The balancing of that part is done really, really well.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing that I heard about most of it, that they got that right. But I didn't realise it was like, $75 is a little bit much in Australia for that, I think.
$50?
Yeah.
Down.
Perfect, exactly.
On board.
Yeah.
That would be the perfect price. I think 75 is maybe too much. Will that stop me from paying the $75 on launch? I don't think so. We've proven, if anything, that I tend to be a little reckless in my spending. But yeah, you literally can get a side mission where you just stand on the counter at the front of the police station and take complaints from people. You can walk the streets and give people parking tickets, or like tell them to turn their radio down because they're disturbing some shopkeeper. Like, this shit shouldn't work this well, and it does. It's fucking mind-boggling. Like, anyway. Good old Wo Long, I have finally started on the PC. I'm playing the PC Game Pass version. It seems to be in a pretty good state right now. I haven't noticed much in the way of stutters. There have been a couple here and there, but nothing major. I did get a good crash, though, after I beat a boss where the screen went black, all the audio just kept playing like normal, and it just sat there. I was like, oh, this is bad. Killed it, went back in. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to fight this fucking boss again. And it wasn't exactly an easy boss, but fortunately it didn't.
Right.
I booted it up, booted back in, and it was like, here's what you got for this mission. I'm like, sweet. The best dumb part, I tried doing a checkout for this, because I wanted to show like some of the issues, like a couple of the funny issues, and just show it off because I've been enjoying it. I forgot to change the audio output in OBS again. So I did a 2-hour video with no audio.
No audio, excellent.
Go me. That audio interface in OBS that we're using is great, except for a couple little hitches, and when you forget to change it, like a dickhead. Every time it boots up, it splits itself between the bottom corners of the two monitors.
Okay.
So I have to go into the graphics settings each time to turn it full screen. It's really funny. I wasn't quite done with Boylong.
Oh, sorry.
When I played the demo, I had a really big issue with the first boss, and a lot of people were like, yo, this first boss is fucked, all this sort of deal. It is absolutely like a skill check on the deflectability that's in there. Once you get it down and get the pattern down, you learn it for the rest of the game, and you can just take it. Like, I got the pattern down event. It took me about 5 or 6 goes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got through the next 2 bosses without dying now, like once I had that deflect down and stuff like that. It's not quite as menu-driven in structure like Neo is, but you can make it so by going into the travel sub-menu when you get to the bonfires or whatever. You can still go into submissions and stuff like that. It seems to streamline a whole lot of stuff.
Oh, okay. Yep.
It's basically what if Team Ninja made a Sekiro game, but set it in ancient China instead of ancient Japan.
Yeah, okay.
I'm really enjoying it. Is it better than Neo or Neo 2? I can't say for certain yet, because it is a slightly different game. But it is one of those really good Souls-likes now that they've actually fixed the bullshit with it.
Mm.
Now.
Yeah, next one.
Yes, one of perhaps the biggest surprises for the year for me personally so far, in that when it's been shown off, it's looked really cool. But when you play it, man, it's fucking amazing, and that's Cocoon. Now, it's... can you just scroll up slightly so I can see the name of the studio? Mm-hmm. Geometric Interactive, which, number one, great fucking name. Mm. Released by Annapurna. Mm-hmm. The main gameplay... Geometric Interactive is a studio started by the gameplay lead for Inside and... What was the other game they did?
Oh.
Limbo.
Limbo.
So it's very much, you can see the sort of gameplay parts they took, or the inspiration, I guess, for lack of a better term, from Inside and from Limbo. It's fucking beautiful to look at. Mm. It has some great sound design. And the puzzle design is actually really, really intuitive. There's demarcations in the environment that give you slight hints of what you're meant to do, but not so much that it gives everything away.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I literally only had to look up one puzzle solution, purely because I did not consider one element that was making it really, really hard for me to actually complete the puzzle.
Yep.
There are, much like Limbo and much like Inside, there are collectibles tied to achievements. I looked up 4 of those as well, but I'm not counting that. Like, I ended up it's really compact, like smartly compact. It was about 4.5, 5 hours if you include getting those collectibles from guides and stuff like that. But it's also one of the best gameplay experiences of the year.
Does it have combat in it? It does, doesn't it?
No.
No, it doesn't. Oh, okay.
No, sorry. There is some boss encounters that are combat-ish,
Yeah, okay.
but not overly directly combat-ish, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I can think. Yeah, okay.
It's hard to explain the combat nature of it without actually like really digging into. Here's what the boss encounters are.
Mm.
But I really this is going. I feel like this is going to get really high on my top 10 list.
Yeah, it's definitely
by the
game
end of the year.
I'm interested in playing because I think it just looks really neat.
It
The
has a
visuals, the
fantastic
looks,
graphical style to it.
yeah.
I think one of the surprise hardest categories, when like assuming we do it the way we've normally done it for this year,
We are doing categories. Like
best looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Best looking is going to be fucking really difficult. Because I was really worried about how complex the actual mechanics were going to make the puzzles. I'm like, I'm normally a fucking idiot with puzzle games, which we're probably going to show off when we do one of the videos we're going to do. But this, not only did it make sense, it made sense in a way that gave me the little nudges and actually made me feel smart. Yeah, which a puzzle game that can make me feel smart is a fucking rare thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fucking fantastic. I don't want to say much more about the actual gameplay design or how the function of the orbs and all that sort of stuff. It's something that I believe people need to experience for themselves. Very, very simple control rise. Left stick, A button, done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really, really like this game. I need to just actually buy it on Game Pass so I can just go, I play the Game Pass version.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I need to buy it there so I can give it the heads up of, this game's dope.
Yeah. Yep.
But yes, I would be very interested in doing a video of that with you being the driver and me being the talker.
Yeah, I think that's probably something we should look at doing. Yeah.
Definitely.
Bit of a tonal shift now.
Yeah, very much so. Mortal Kombat 1. This is a game where if I was to review it, I would find it very hard to give it more than a 70-ish% or more than a 3 out of 5 or stuff like that, because there are some borderline incredible technical issues in this thing.
Okay.
I had stuttering in the cutscenes of the story. I had complete dropping out of cutscenes in the story to the point where I had to drop to a black screen that had the Mortal Kombat logo like it was loading in the cutscene.
Okay, yeah.
I had it drop or fall behind subtitles. I've had it not show the score sheet after like finishing a tower, which is shown maybe 20% of the time.
Yep.
It does the thing where it demarcates when you get new items for your fighter, for your cameo fighter, stuff like that. It doesn't recognize when you do those, when you equip those to count it as red. But the technical issues that are there don't necessarily 100% get in the way.
Okay.
Now, the evolution of Johnny Cage's character is really interesting because he's still kind of an egomaniacal dipshit, but he's also a bit grounded, a bit more reasonable.
Yep. Yeah.
Kung Lao's a fucking dumbass, and he has one of the funniest scenes in the whole game. As you play through the story mode, depending on who is observing the story, it'll change the announcer of the actual fight. So who says round one fight, shit like that.
Yep.
There were some tweaks to the lore that basically the origin of like Baraka and Melina becoming the way she is, all that sort of stuff. That was really, really interesting. Megan Fox in that game is fucking terrible, but she is nowhere near as bad as Ronda Rousey. I really enjoyed the story of Mortal Kombat 1, but if you take any time to think about it or critically deconstruct it or anything like that, it completely falls apart qualitatively. Because like it's super cool, and then all of a sudden it's like, yep, these characters are done, and this happens, and then this happens, and like, oh, what's going to happen next? But you think about it, it's like, wait, what the fuck happened to him, or him, or him? Why the fuck did this happen? Where's the end? What the? And you just, yeah. But there's also the part where they just bring in a bunch of different versions to do like the big Avengers Endgame moment, and that's pretty incredible as well. And they also do a really interesting thing with the towers, which are basically just like the arcade mode towers, not the Towers of Time from Mortal Kombat 11, in that they have the sort of staticky image, like 5 or 6 shot endings after each arcade tower.
Mm-hmm.
And they canonically play into after the end of the story mode.
Okay.
So I'm really, really curious how they're going to use any of those endings or any of the seemingly the canon they've set up following those towers in whether it be DLC or in Mortal Kombat 13.
Yep.
Or whatever they call the follow-up
What
to
do
this.
they call the next one? Yeah.
And that's the other thing as well. What the fuck do you call the next one? You can't really call it Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah, because this is a What exactly is this? Is it a reboot of the first?
Technically, it is technically a timeline reboot, but it's a narrative. The events of Mortal Kombat 11 make it clear how this is actually a reboot in some ways. It's not a pure reboot. Yeah, okay. It doesn't pretend.
But they're using like a time jump mechanic to to present this story as this is a new parallel story to the original set of whatever. Yeah, okay, yeah.
So with Liu Kang becoming the god of time or the keeper of time at the end of 11, he's able to reshape the timeline and all that sort of stuff, and then it spins off with multiple different fucking timelines going all different directions. Like, there's a point where no, I'm not going to get into any specific story points, but like, yeah, it's because Liu Kang resets and sets up these timelines, you get different issues where the original Sub-Zero for Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal Kombat was Bi-Han. He dies at the end of Mortal Kombat. In Mortal Kombat 2, it's Kuai Liang who becomes Sub-Zero.
Yeah, okay.
Bi-Han, complete asshole. Absolute useless, dipshit, fuckwit. They did some work with that in Mortal Kombat 9, 10, and 11. But in this version, Kuai Liang is this game's Scorpion.
Oh, okay.
Bi-Han is this game's Sub-Zero. Bi-Han becomes Noob Saibot in the original storyline.
Okay.
The Mortal Kombat lore is the most fucking ridiculous fighting game lore, outside of maybe Tekken and the amount of people getting thrown in volcanoes.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so Kuai Liang and Bi-Han have an argument as Scorpion and Sub-Zero respectively. The Lin Kuei gets broken up. That's how the Shirai Ryu clan starts. And then at some point, Bi-Han's maybe going to die and become Noob Saibot. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. But, again, you think about certain elements of this story way too hard, and it just goes, wait, what the fuck? It becomes like an absolute clusterfuck. But I'm enjoying playing it, except for online, because you get motherfuckers being able to do like 45% damage juggle combos. And so I'm not playing online as much in this because I'm just getting absolutely wrecked and it's pissing me off. Moving on. Did I not? Oh, I must have skipped Nocturnal. Never mind. It was only about a 2-hour game. Who cares? I will just quickly say Nocturnal, very, very good. I don't think it's worth $25 for the 2-ish to 3-ish hours that it took me to play it. Moving on. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk is a game I have been looking forward to for quite some time. Because it's basically a new version of Jet Set Radio. For the most part, it's a really cool update to the Jet Set Radio formula. The graffiti and the movement in which you do the combos to actually lay the graffiti down is way more intuitive than it was in Jet Set Radio. Because Jet Set would be, okay, press up, then down, then do a half circle, then this, that, and the other. Whereas this, you're just making different patterns on 4, 5, 6, or 7 pointed sort of diagrams.
Okay, yep.
And it sort of replicates that graffiti element much more. The cops are a little bit over the top. Like, particularly after a while, and you've graffitied a fair bunch of shit, they'll be like, ruh, 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 and you get snipers and fucking ships that are shooting bullets at you and stuff like that. The future's weird, man. The thing about this, and this is where I don't know if it's good or if it's fucking incredible. The story has at least, 6 to 8 different turns whether it be
Okay.
character turns, whether it be plot twists, whatever the case may be. Almost wrestling-esque in the nature of the randomness of the character turn, like face and heel turns and shit like that, and suspension of disbelief to arrive at a certain level of trust, and like the revealing of the nature of who is certain characters and stuff like that. It's just, what the fuck? Like, this isn't much of a spoiler. It's the first 10 minutes. The dude you take control of in the first 10 minutes, your head gets cut off by a dude throwing a record at you. You're then told, all right, we're going to go get your head back. This dude, fuck him. Let's fuck him up. All right, word. 3/4 of the way through the story, that relationship changes. You find out that that dude's not a bad guy. The dude who you were was actually the bad guy. Wait, what? It's the fucking most wrestling fucking video game storyline that wasn't a wrestling game in the last 15, 20 years. Just in the way character motivations and alignments change and shit like that. It's real dumb, Graham. It's real fucking dumb. Like, more so than wrestling is. It looks really nice. I like the look. I liked playing it, but yeah, there's some real narrative issues in that fucking thing, man. Second to last, penultimate Sprawl. I did a checkout for this last Monday while you were, or I recorded it last Sunday while you were at PAX.
Mm-hmm.
Yet another classic first-person shooter. Yet again, doesn't quite hit the upper echelon of that form. This one's got more of a cyberpunk aesthetic to it. Mm-hmm. There's a few issues I think that hold it back. Largely, like the shotgun is incredibly powerful, but there's a real lack of pace or lack of urgency. And like you pull the shot, and then like the sort of recocking of it to shoot again. It's a really long process, like way longer than it should be to make it really fluid and really fast. Mm-hmm. There's also a lack of immediate feedback for points of damage in boss fights. Because you have a slowdown mechanic that shows you where weak points are. Mm-hmm. I actually forgot about that in like the first boss fight. Mm-hmm. So I died on it like 4 times going, why aren't I causing damage to this dude? And then ran out of ammo because like in order to get ammo back, you have to weaken the weak points enough to destroy them. So I'm just running around like a dickhead going, what do I do? Nah. Oh, wait, right mouse button will actually show the weak points. What a dickhead. I like the look of it, but it's pretty low budget in its voice production. Like basically most voices have this sort of weird sort of cyber techno sort of layer on top of it, and it seems like there's only like 4 voice actors maybe. But like the traversal of the environments, like the wall running, all that sort of stuff, I really enjoyed for the most part. It was largely the boss fights that fucked me off the most, just because of the lack of immediate feedback and what the hell you were meant to do with them. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, yeah, perfectly good one of those.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Last game. Ooh. Out in approximately a month. Mm-hmm. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Much like I have done in at least the last maybe game or two. Well, I did it at least for Modern Warfare 2. I know that, where I did a checkout of the open beta for that. I also checked out the Modern Warfare 3 open beta. Would it surprise you, Graham, to know that this is a Call of Duty game?
Would never have guessed.
You run around, you shoot dudes, you occasionally swear because you didn't realize or just got killed out of nowhere, and I was like, shit. It is a very good, very capable one of those that I will not buy because it's like 110, 120 bucks. Yeah. There are way too many other things for me to buy and play. The one thing I will say is that they have slightly increased. I had to think about the way the metrics worked out there. The time to kill in multiplayer. You don't get you will still get dropped in about 5 or 6 shots, but it's not like the real quick, I just saw a dude, and now I'm dead.
Yeah, okay.
You have the ability to try and maneuver around that fight and turn it in your favor and stuff like that.
Okay.
The checkout for that is recorded. This is where, remember how I said there was the issue with the OBS sound thing we use? So because Call of Duty is in this big launcher of its own, right? Set the audio output into OBS as that launcher because Modern Warfare 3 wasn't on the list.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like, okay, this will sort it. Go into the game. All right, yep, cool, I'm all good. Not even paying attention. Just like, yep, we're all good. I noticed 40 minutes later, it's not taking any sound from Modern Warfare 3 because because of the stupidity on the fucking launcher to game part. Didn't capture the audio. So I ended up having to scrap that and then re-recorded it. So I kept the stream going because I'm a dickhead. I don't know. I thought it'd be fun. And then I played the Mosh Pit, which was a recycling of domination, team deathmatch, kill confirmed, hard point, and another mode that I don't think came up.
Okay.
But yeah, perfectly fine. Like, really enjoyable. And I know that I would lose just massive amounts of time playing multiplayer in that thing. Because it's really, really easy to do. It's just really amusing, just complete zen. Just run, dead. Oh shit. But yeah, again, I'm not paying $110 for it, but I can absolutely see why people would do it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But yeah, really, really enjoyable. I dug it. One other thing. Across the Spider-Verse, I finally watched it.
Yes, yep.
I actually forgot that that's the first part of a two-parter. So, like, I was waiting for, like, because I will say, not spoiling anything, Miles Morales gets treated like fucking shit in that film. It really bothered me. And then I was waiting for the redemption, and then it's like, cuts to credits. I'm like, no! Oh, wait, there's another one coming. It's like Fast X.
Yeah, making 3 of them. Yeah.
I don't think it's as strong as Into the Spider-Verse, but there are way more spider people this time.
Yeah.
And I think the second half of this movie is going to really determine its overall quality.
Yeah, I've heard lots of like visually it's like it's on par, if not better than the second one. Is what the first movie, also, rather than saying the first movie.
Very much so, yes.
But yeah, I think because it's going to be in 2 parts, like it is, I think that makes it a bit harder to establish whether it's better, quote unquote, than the first movie, because the first movie is kind of sort of standalone-ish in a way.
It self-contains itself really, really well while still setting up that sequel with Spider-Gwen going, hey, you coming?
Yeah. Yeah, so... But yeah, I'm looking forward to... I only established myself like a week ago that there was a 3rd movie coming. Oh, okay. I'll hold off.
I forgot.
I'll hold off until both are out, then I'll watch them back-to-back together to better sense of the story of it, because... Yeah.
I think the way it works in Fast X, actually, like, it still contains it really well. I feel like there's maybe too many hooks, or the main hook is dangling for Spider-Verse to actually make it as effectively contained within that one film. It's kind of a bother.
Oh, okay. Yep.
But yeah, you're right in that it looks fucking amazing. Spider-Man 2099 is a fucking asshole. There's the title of the podcast. We haven't even come up with a good one of them yet. Anyway. So yes, right. Graham.
My games. Let me get my list up.
Well, are we doing your games then PAX, or are we doing PAX then your games?
I'll give my games first, then we'll do PAX.
What? Did the ROG get some play?
It certainly did.
Did you Street Pass?
No. I don't even think that's a thing anymore, is it? Was to a Switch?
I don't believe it's on the Switch, no. But man, it was so cool at that very first PAX. Like,
oh, you just did 1,000 in like a 5
all the
seconds.
talk of Street Pass and shit, and man, I Street Passed like a motherfucker at that first PAX. It was great. He gave me something to do during the fucking waiting for panels and shit. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. So there are 4 games on my list. 2 games are actual out games, and the first one is this one. And the other 2 are demos. We're going to do a video of one of those demos later today, which is the Talos Principle 2.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I'll play the demo of that, and that's something I'll definitely be getting when it comes out. And the 4th one's also a demo that I actually played at PAX. I didn't finish the demo at PAX, and then the demo was available in part of the Steam Next Fest. So I bought it, downloaded it from there, and I'll.
Is that what you were playing before we started recording?
No, that's something else I was playing. Yep.
I was going to say, because I saw you playing something else. I'm like, the fuck is that? Looked it up. Oh, of course it's a bloody CD builder. It's a Graham game. Of course it fucking is.
No, that one I haven't actually finished yet, but that looks quite promising. That one's got a bit of yeah, looks quite promising. That one. Anyway,
Do you want to just give the name so we're not just talking around like you and I having inside info?
it's called. I think it's called The Crust. I think something weird like
Yes, that rings a
that.
bell.
That might be Crust or The Crust, something like that. Yeah, it's basically it's a city builder on the moon. Yeah, The Crust. So it's got it's got some interesting parts to it. Though. Anyway, so this game, Bilkin's Folly, is a game that I had no idea about it at all until I saw an article in, I think it was the Kotaku Australia one. I think that's where I saw it. It was like a
Didn't I? Did you know about it before, like the last
no,
podcast?
as I said, no, didn't know about it until
I think I told you about it then.
Well, you did, but I didn't remember it. So,
Okay.
so this I saw this on in an article. It was like one of those. Here's what's coming out this week in on Steam kind of an article. And this is the first one they showed, Bilkin's Folly. Turns out this actually is made in Tasmania, of all things, which I was surprised by. It is the main thing that captured me about it is just its look. It's a great little sort of top-down puzzle game. You play as Percy, and you have got an offsider, he's Drayton, his dog, and the animation of those two characters, especially the dog, is just brilliant. It's what really attracted me to it. It's a pretty neat puzzle game. It's not particularly tricky so far. Yeah, just the art style's really good. I think we'll probably do a video of this one. It won't be particularly long, so we'll probably do a video of this one today as well. This game is really, really good. Like it's only, I don't know how much it was. Like maybe $20, if not less.
Like 25 off. I literally just looked it up and added it to my wish list.
Okay.
$29.50 right now.
Okay, so it's probably a little bit on the. I mean, as I said, I haven't finished it yet, so it could be way longer than what it is. But for me, it's just a little perfect little game. Of the look of it, the animation is just. I just really like it. So, but yeah, hopefully we'll do a video of it in today, and you'll get a sense of it from that. So keep an eye on our YouTube channels for that in the coming days.
Fairly well received for the most part, review-wise. Couple of less than great reviews.
Yeah, couple of less than great reviews, but I think for the most part it's getting pretty good coverage.
Yeah.
So yeah. Next one is pretty big one. Assassin's Creed Mirage.
You still have Ubisoft Plus, don't you?
Yes, I've actually upgraded to a new version of that. That actually gives me access to those same games on Xbox as well. So that's.
Wait, that was an additional tier?
Yeah, there's an additional tier to do that. Yeah.
Fuck. How much was that?
I'll take an extra couple of dollars a month extra, like 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just think it's worth it. So
20 is normal because I looked into it again for this, and I'm like, yeah, nah, I can't quite justify it.
I think it's 20. I might be 23 or 24.95 a month.
Okay.
For the one that gives you Xbox access, and basically it's exactly the same thing. Not all the titles are available, but the standard editions of them are kind of thing. So I actually started playing this while I was in Melbourne for PAX. I downloaded this to the ROG, and it, other than being a bloody big download and having to struggle with hotel Wi-Fi to get the thing downloaded.
You downloaded this on hotel Wi-Fi?
Yeah. The hotel Wi-Fi wasn't too bad, but it just took a couple.
Better off tethering your phone to it.
I was struggling to get that to work properly on my phone. I think it's got some weird problems with tethering. It's always been a bit dodgy across the board, not just with this. So I tried doing that. It downloaded eventually. Played a fair bit of it on the Monday, which was the day before I flew back to Hobart. Played it for a good couple of hours. Look, it's an Assassin's Creed game. Look, you know what it is. Well, I'll rephrase that. It's back to the original versions of the Assassin's Creed in terms of classic sort of things. It's still got weapons you can upgrade. You've still got a little of RPG mechanics in it to a degree with that stuff, in that you can make your weapons a bit better and more damage and that kind of stuff. But I think it's more linked to story mechanics rather than just finding random stuff in the environment. You can pick up, upgrade, blueprints, or they give them something else. Schematics, I think might be the term they use in the game.
I believe you're right, based on videos and stuff I've seen.
So you still need to have that plus the materials to upgrade the weapon or upgrade the gear or whatever. So it's got a bit of that in it, but nowhere near as much as what it was in Valhalla, Origins, and Odyssey. Nothing like those three. And it seems like so far it's just pretty much confined to Baghdad, which is where the game is essentially set. Um, but I'm really digging it. I really like it. I mean, I've always liked those games anyway, so it's not as if there's a big departure from them.
I mean,
But
shit, you played and finished Odyssey. You finished Odyssey, didn't you?
I finished
Or did
Odyssey
you
and
fall off?
I finished. I didn't. It's Valhalla that I started and didn't get anywhere near finishing. But yeah, Odyssey I finished, so I really liked them all. So,
Mm.
yeah, so I think this is going to be good. It runs pretty well. I was getting, well, it's not a comparison, but I was getting about 30 frames a second on the ROG, which is not bad considering
That's pretty good.
it's pretty good for a game like this. I'm getting obviously 60 plus on the big PC and on Xbox of course, um, but yeah, like I think it's still I think it's a pretty good looking game. It plays really well.
Mm.
The story stuff is so far so good, but it's obviously early stages for me. And it
How
doesn't.
much? How much of Valhalla did you actually play, or did you play
Uh,
less than me or more?
Way less
I
than
only
you.
played like maybe an hour or two.
Oh, I probably end up playing more. I might probably maybe put in maybe 10 hours or something into it, and this is just not
Did
for
you
me.
meet Basim in Valhalla or
No,
no?
that's why this is
Okay.
why this. Yes, that's the thing. You play as Basim in this game, and he is a side character in Valhalla. This basically sets
Mm.
up how he ends up in Valhalla, essentially. Um, so yeah, I don't
Seems to
recall.
have a pretty big fucked up role if what I've heard is to be believed.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not too sure how we. I'm not too sure how he's presented in Valhalla, so I'm not too sure. Like
Mm.
what sort of character he has in it, but yeah. Yeah. So I'm actually looking forward to playing the rest of it. I think it's a good. I'm enjoying it,
It's
so
fine.
it's fine.
Mm.
Yeah. And Talos Principle 2, this is coming out in about a month, I think, maybe less than.
November 2nd, judging by the dates in front of us.
All right, cool. So, um, yeah, it's Talos Principle. Now I've played the demo a fair bit already, so we'll obviously help. I'll help Steve out. I think you'll be fine if you can if you can get Viewfinder done, you'll be able to Talos Principle won't be a problem. I don't believe. I don't
Okay.
believe. What's
I was
interesting
about to
though
say,
is,
I look forward to proving how fucking stupid I am when we play this.
um, but yeah, I think what's really interesting about this one is the presentation of the story is way different.
Oh, they
To
framed it differently this
Oh,
time, have they?
it's very different. I'm not going to say anything more than that because you did you play the first one? Know of the first one? You know of it. I know
I
that.
played through the first one, but I
Okay.
borderline relied on guides to get me through at least the second half of that game.
Okay. So you sort of know how the game is presented in terms of how the story is presented. You can vaguely recall how it's sort of presented.
I remember laser beams and gates and shit, and I think audio logs.
That's sort of how it was sort of presented. You had this sort of overall godlike person talking to you, and you got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And a sort of lot of stuff through audio logs and stuff. Yeah, I'm very interested to see what you think when you start playing this game. The demo we're going to do.
No, Colors Principle's nearly 10 years old.
Yeah, it's been a long time since that game came out.
Fuck me. December 2014 when that thing came out.
Yep.
Jesus.
Yeah, but this game is the presentation of this game is very different, and it's definitely got me intrigued as to how they're going to sort of present it. I'm really looking forward to playing the rest of this when it comes out. Yeah.
Is it as mechanically interesting as Viewfinder? Because Viewfinder has that camera element, but that plays into its art and stuff like that too, to an extent as well. So that
this is
apples to oranges comparison.
This is really just an extension of the first game in terms of the mechanics.
So it's still light emitters and shit like that.
Yeah. There's got a couple of variations on it, but they've added a couple of different mechanics into it. But ultimately, it's basically just an extension of those games. So you've got the same reflector things. As I said, they've added some new mechanics into it. Don't want to spoil this yet, but we'll cover those in the demo. But yeah, for the most part, the game plays in terms of the puzzles are very similar to what you would have played in the first one.
I look forward to accidentally doing your head in when we do the video.
The last one is The Drifter. This is an Australian point-and-click game that was at PAX.
Powerhoof is a great fucking name.
Yeah, it is. It's a great name.
Powerhoof is fucking... That... Episode title. Powerhoof.
This... I didn't know about this game. I think you might have known about it beforehand. I don't know.
I saw it on a lot of like the listicles of here are 12 demos to check out in the Steam Next Fest.
Oh, okay.
Almost every one of those I looked up or saw, which was about 4 or 5, had the drifter on it.
Yeah, this game as I will actually get it actually will be in a video I've got coming up to show people in this on this episode. This game, as I said, hadn't heard of it at all. It's basically a point and click adventure. In the LucasArts style, as you can sort of picture that. But it's set in Australia. It's got brilliant voice acting. I spoke to one of the developers obviously there because the good thing about PAX, we'll show it in the video. But you can basically talk to the people making these games. This is in the indie showcase area. This particular game was. So this game is phenomenal for what they've done. And I was just playing the demo. I didn't finish the demo on the floor because I wanted to get to some other stuff. But then was on the. I then saw it on demo first on Steam. I thought, fuck, I'll finish it. And it would only take probably maybe 25 minutes to finish. It's a pretty shortish demo. Now that I've done it through, I can probably go through it relatively quickly. But the thing that this game does, what I was so surprised by, is the voice acting is fucking phenomenal. I said to the developer, who's your voice acting? Because it actually sounded very familiar. I said, oh, that's just one of our artists. Seriously? It's brilliant. The voice acting is really, really good. At least
That's very similar in Hades, in that Supergiant used developers as some of their voice talent.
Yeah, but I mean, when you start listening to this guy, he sounds like a proper, like actually sounds like
voice actor.
He actually sounds like Bryan Brown. You see what he sounds like. You probably don't know that. You probably know the face if you saw it, but he's an Australian actor. Well, I know
I've heard the name.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this tough old bastard.
Yeah, so he sounds like him, and that's what I thought it was. But then when I asked him, it's just one of our animations or artists or something. Okay, yeah, it nails it. So yeah, was
he doing a voice?
My understanding is he was, because on the credits for the game, this particular person is listed to as male characters, basically. So he might do a couple of them.
I more meant, was he trying to do the Bryan Brown voice, or is that
I've no fucking idea, mate. Sorry, I had no idea.
Okay.
No idea.
That's right.
That's what his voice sounded like to me, and that's what I thought it was. Because that's how it sounded. But whether he's trying to do that, whether he's trying to imitate that, I have no idea. But
it's Bryan Brown's son.
That's a better title.
Bryan Brown's son.
Yeah.
Bryan Brown's boy.
Yeah. So that's it wasn't something I was expecting to come out of an indie showcase. A game like this being as polished as it is, and they're saying they're about 12 months away from it being a release thing. So they're close to. And I think he said they're basically done with the game in terms of the content. But it's now just doing the artist and getting all the various things in place to do it. But yeah, like they're pretty close to sort of finishing that game off, which it's definitely on my list when it comes out. It looks phenomenal. Sounds really good, and the puzzles and the point and click stuff was relatively, in what I played, it was relatively straightforward in what you meant to do.
Should hit them up a little bit later and see if they'll send us a code and just have it be the first code we receive in a realistic perspective. Oh, remember we talked to PAX? Can you please send me a code for coverage purposes?
No, I'm not going to ever do that.
Well, you're that fucking guy from Tasmania, aren't you? Nah, fuck off. Tasmania, fuck that. Oh, wait, no. Bilkins Folly was the one made in Tasmania. I was about to say, that'd be a bit harsh.
Yeah, so that's the games that I've played way more than that. They're the ones that I sort of want to highlight. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and cut to this. And let's. Oh, actually,
I heard a sound.
I want to actually turn. Where did that even play audio for? Because I thought I made it so it didn't do audio. This could be interesting. Why is that doing that? That's the wrong one. Why has it even got audio? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, let me get rid of this bit first.
Video production.
Yes. Where is that? I want to get rid of that. There we go. So we cut to. I'm very confused as to why that's even got audio.
Did you end up playing like much Dave the Diver or anything else on the ROG while you were there, or?
No, not really. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done. I should have exported 2 other videos. Yeah, so what I might do then, rather than do this, I don't want to have the audio play because it's not. It'll just be too loud, and I don't think I can cut it.
Cut the audio.
No, I don't think I can cut. Okay, why is that not even doing what I think it's doing? Let's go back to that one. Oh, this is weird. This is not playing normally the way I do it. What's going on here? I can't seem to get rid of that. Actually, I might just do this. Why is this not working? I'm getting really irritated.
I can tell, which is why I'm keeping quiet so I don't accidentally fuck you off.
Why is this not going and cutting to the right thing? Okay. For some reason, none of the cuts are working.
Well, that's not good.
Which means I can't change any of the bloody things over. Because for some reason, it's just staying on this one. Why is this doing this? For some reason, it's cutting the audio over, but not the footage of it.
Huh. I don't know anywhere near enough to suggest anything, so I'm.
No, this has not ever done this to me before, so I don't know what it's doing myself.
So I will say, while you're trying to figure out what's going on, I forgot to mention Sprawl was really highlighting the fact that my mouse seems to be shitting itself. In that I would click it and nothing would happen. Like I clicked it like 4 or 5 times, sometimes with the shotgun, nothing happened. I'm like, no, and then I died, which I thought was going to be an issue in Call of Duty, but it wasn't. So I got a new mouse coming.
Okay, so I got that working. So let me.
I got the G502X, the wireless one.
Alright,
from
so what I'm going to do
during
instead
Amazon
is
Prime.
I will change it to a different video. Okay, just going to do a quick thing on the fly here. So I figured out what's going on. I don't know why I pressed the wrong button, but anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly re-encode this project in Premiere, but I'm going to flick to another one. What I want is that one. So let's see if I can go that one and go that one, and we'll cut to that one. There we go. So this is the games that I saw at PAX. So this is that one. Now this happens to be a game that I was not expecting to be there. This is, as it looks like, this is Prince of Persia. Lost Crown.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know that was going to be at PAX either.
I didn't know. In the only place it was, in the Nintendo booth, is where this was. Why it was there and nowhere else, I'm not really sure. But I did get a chance to play it on the Switch, which isn't necessarily the best. I wouldn't have thought the best one to play it on, but that's where I played it.
How'd it run on the Switch?
Surprisingly good is the first thing.
Sorry.
This is on the Switch hardware. Oops. Yes, I'll go. I don't know if I can go back to that. Can I go back to that? Where's it go?
I have heard quite good things about that too, but we'll get to that in a sec.
Yes, this is basically This is the. I'm just gonna do. Just give me a second. I just need to do this. That'll do. Right. Yeah, so the game looks really quite good. It's got really good flow of movement. I was playing on the Switch, and it says it was playing really well on the Switch, much to my surprise. Because I thought this game would be just a little bit too much for it, but it was absolutely fine. It's got really good movement. Like, it's pretty good combat. There's not particularly like demo's not got a lot to show in the combat. But it's kind of 2 or 3 hits before you take down an enemy kind of a thing. And they'll come from you. You can probably see from the bit of here if I play this again.
Jumping from the foreground
Jumping
in and shit
yeah,
like that.
Yeah, like it's got some really neat effects to it.
How did you find the combat? Because I know combat, like certain combat style or certain combat elements, aren't really your thing.
Yeah, I found it absolutely fine. So you've got to like. I don't think I use it in the. I don't think then I'm not playing it. I'm not playing it here. I'm video someone else playing it, but I don't believe they used the. There's a bow you can use as well. You can see the bottom left. They've got a bow. You can use that for sort of long range attack sort of thing.
Seems to be some pretty neat finishes and shit like that too.
Yeah, like it's
got, looks really interesting.
Like it's got some really good stuff to it. It really was surprising. Like you can see how. I think it was around here. You die when you die. It's a real quick restart. You can see here it just comes up and does this kind of finishing move right there.
Yeah, it's got a real nice sense of style to it.
Yeah, like it really flows well. Like it doesn't. It just looks really good and flows really well. So yeah, look, it was a surprise to see it there. I wasn't expecting it to be there. It was a surprise to only see it in the Nintendo booth and nowhere else.
That part is funny.
Yeah, so you can only play it on Switches. When I played it in handheld on the Switch itself. What we're looking at here is obviously using a Pro controller. So it's not, it's a bit different to obviously when you're going to play it, on a Pro controller versus on the actual handheld device itself. But I found it absolutely fine on all of them, so that wasn't a big. I didn't play it. I didn't play with a Pro controller in the end. So I just played the handheld one. Is all I played of it.
Was it an OLED Switch or just a normal one?
I couldn't say, to be honest, which one it was.
Okay. It does seem to be moving really, really well, given the Switch's hardware.
Yeah, as I said, I was surprised at how well it played, even on the handheld, which obviously not using any of the extra grunt that the dock can give it. It was more than adequate. I think it was actually quite good. Yeah, so that was the surprise one. In terms of, I'm not surprised it's good, but I was surprised it was there. You probably saw a brief glimpse of it. I'm going to go through this. This only goes for about 4 minutes, this video, so we'll go through it relatively quickly. This one was a really neat game. Again, this is all in the Indie Showcase stuff.
I think this has a demo.
I think this might have a demo. I'm not too sure. But it's Primordial Legends Hollow Hero. It's a bit of an odd name.
It does not have a demo.
It doesn't have a demo, but does it have it does have a Steam page, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure.
It has a Steam store page. I've literally just added it to my wish list.
I'll go back. So it's really, really neat because it's basically Uncharted, but you're playing as a wombat, and it's really fucking cool. And they have this really nice phrase in the game. They might even have it on the Steam page now. They had a little pamphlets there, and it had this really, really neat phrase. I just want to make sure I get it. Here we go. So they're anthropomorphic wombat combat. It was really great.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It was really, really good. So this is a game that's, I think, coming out, I think they said next year. For this, it's looking really good. Like, it's basically Uncharted as a wombat. You've got a bow and arrow to shoot. You can do close combat, melee stuff. You can see just there that this player here has sort of got an ability where he's going to go underground and sort of burrow. You can come up in certain areas. It looks pretty good. It plays really well. Obviously, I was on PC here, but yeah, so it's looking really, really good. So that was a nice one to see. And This one is really neat. This is actually from New Zealand. This is a if I actually go back a little bit, I think I do. Hopefully, I show the name of the game off. It's called Up to Par.
Yes,
And
that's
it's
what it's called.
and it's and it describes themselves as a rogue light golf game.
Mm.
And essentially, what you're doing is you're playing golf, as you can see on the screen here. I'm not playing again. I'm just filming over someone's shoulder. In between, you've got once you finish playing the round, so to speak, you then get to choose basically some buffs that you can pick from that give you things like if you're close enough to the hole, it'll just give it to you anyway, kind of thing. Or if you manage to hit your ball out of the course, this thing will. These are the mechanics where you can choose
Yep.
the sort of the things you got. So there's one there, gimme. So if you're within a particular distance, it'll just give you the shot anyway.
Yeah.
So it's got some really neat mechanics in terms of, just picking, what you're going to choose to. Oh, this is a really good one. This one.
Yeah.
This one is really neat.
Do you want to just pause it for 2 secs?
Yep.
Because Up to Par has actually been on at least the last one or two Steam Next Fests. One of the videos, Next Fest videos I did, I can't remember if it was the last one or the one before that. I actually have already played this.
Oh, have you? Oh, okay.
I believe there is a demo up for it during the Next Fest now. But this might hit before the Next Fest is done. But I believe the demo is from last time.
Yeah, there's a demo for it. It probably is. It may not be the one I played. It may be one that's been around for a while. I don't know, but it's kind of neat. Like it's a neat little idea to have that you've got this sort of rogue.
It's got a great look to it as well.
Yeah. All right. So the next game was one that you'll see this in action. This is a game called Footy Bash. This normally can have up to 4 players to each side. It seems to be local. It was local co-op only on the, obviously you can imagine, at PAX. They are aiming to have multiplayer with online as well. But basically, you're looking at this game and you go, oh, this has got NBA Jam inspiration all over it. I asked the guys who were making it. It was one of the guys just playing it there is actually one of the developers on it. And he said, we wanted to use, sort of go back to the old school game of footy where you were bashing each other's up sort of things, like going back to the 70s and 80s. You look at old footage from AFL or VFL back then, and that's exactly what it was. It was really, not that the game now is not tough, but it was very, very, very physical back then. Taking that sort of element of it and then also adding in the ability that you can actually basically bash and take out your players, which is why you can see blood on the ground. And it's basically it's a really quick you play 2 quarters essentially, so half of it, half a game so to speak. And it's all like I assume in the full game you have to choose how long each quarter goes for, but this I think was all over in like maybe 5 minutes, like maybe 2 minutes each quarter sort of thing. So it was really quick. And basically you score and it moves really quick. You've got the ability to, you can sort of see in the bottom of down in here. You can actually see the various moves you've got. You can punch them, you can run, you can not run, you can what's the word? Accelerate your run sort of thing. It's actually really neat. They're trying to get the license for AFL, which I think they're going to really struggle with, just because of the nature of what they're doing.
With the blood, they're going to definitely struggle with.
So I think they'll struggle with that, and as it's a core part of the game, they said if we don't get it, we're not going to drop that to get the license sort of thing. Because I said, no, why would you? So I think they can pretty much just use it to a degree and have looks like very similar colours to other AFL teams and stuff like that, but just not use names and stuff like that. But
it actually has a Steam store page now. It didn't when you first sent me this.
Oh, did? Oh, okay, that's interesting. So they do have one now. Okay, that's interesting. Does it got much on it? No.
Not really, because I saw the wish list on Steam, and I'm like, when you sent me that video the first time, it definitely didn't have a store page.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I looked the other day and they didn't have one. So this has come over the last couple of days. What have they got there? Okay, they're aiming for single player online LAN shares. That's interesting. Remote play together. Yeah, that was definitely not. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah,
Yep.
that's basically lines up with what they said they were going to try and do when I was there. So that's really good. Yeah, cool. The next one is a very brief look at a game called Detective Rydell. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that properly, but it's Detective Rydell, I think. An escape room murder mystery. This is a demo available at the moment on Steam for this. I assume it's still available. It was when I looked a couple of days ago. And it is kind of what it looks. It's a detective game where you're playing as just sort of cut out characters in this 3D environment sort of thing. So visually it looks really neat. I think the puzzles. I didn't play this on site. I wanted to, but they actually had a little. You see it right there on the screen. Like for some reason it's not showing it all, but at the bottom you can just see just there. The very bottom next to the left of the keyboard is actually a notepad and pencil. They actually recommend you have one of those when you're playing it. So that cool. I'm not gonna play this on a busy, loud showroom floor. I will have a look at this.
I like how they've used stickers to cover up the labels on the monitors.
Yeah. Yeah. So it just looks like it's really neat puzzle game. I think it's going to have some good potential. But yeah, I haven't had a chance to come back and play that yet, but I'm looking forward to having a look at that again. But it did visually caught my eye for sure because of how it sort of presents itself. Look at it when it's in movement, sort of thing. Yeah, the players
very sort of cell shaded.
Yeah, and the characters could have looked like 2D cutout sort of thing. So it does look kind of neat. I like the look of it a lot.
The demo is still live on Steam right now.
Okay, cool. This is another game actually from Tasmania. This one I didn't capture a lot of footage of, sadly, but it's a demo available on Steam right now for this one as well. This one is actually, it's made by a Tasmanian group and is actually based on Tasmania. Like the environments are based on Tasmanian landmarks and stuff like that.
Cool. It's got a dash hound.
Sorry?
It had a little dash hound in the video.
Oh,
I saw the trailer running on the Steam page, and it looked like the little dog that you're with is a little dash hound.
This is a really neat puzzle game. It's really hard to kind of show in this because, as I said, I only caught this bit of it as part of when I'm recording it. As the demo's on Steam, I assume it's still. Did you say it was still? I think you said it was.
Yep.
It's just really neat puzzle. Really neat puzzle game. But yeah, looking really good. I think they're set out next year. I think as well.
The page just says coming soon.
Yeah, I think they were aiming for next year, I think is what they were saying. But again, that group was a pretty small team, but also this was not their job. Making the game is not their job, so
doing a poll style.
Yeah, basically. So who knows how long they're really going to take? But looking really promising from an actual visual perspective, and yeah, the fact that it's based on Tasmanian sort of landmarks environments is pretty cool.
So you're going to have an advantage to most people because who the fuck goes to Tasmania?
I don't think where they set the various puzzles is going to give me any advantage.
Okay, so it's not a one-to-one.
I don't believe so, no.
You know when they're on the Steam store where they do like similar games?
Yeah.
So the Steam store page for that had Viewfinder.
Yep,
absolutely makes sense. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
No. Maybe the style.
Which I'm like, wait, what?
Maybe the bright colours. Maybe that's where it came from. I don't know.
Paint shit all over Tasmania. Let's go.
This is the Drifter, the game I was talking about earlier during our Mormosa section. You can sort of see it in action. It just looks really good. Like that. That's all voice acted.
That's got a real LucasArts vibe to it.
As I said, like a real LucasArts vibe to it. This is another. Let's go back here. This is a nearly neat game. This is actually from New Zealand, called Monster Racing League. This game, you don't control your car's direction at all. Like it's a self-driving game, which might sound a bit odd, but what you do control is a little bit of if they've got a couple of options, the track can take two paths sometimes. You can choose which one it takes, but what you are controlling is the very bottom of the screen there. You've got three options to basically take out your enemies, and you control them on sort of timers and cooldowns and stuff like that. So it's got an interesting mechanic in that you don't control your driver at all or the car at all, but you can control. It's an interesting mechanic to do that, and I think it'll work. In that you're basically using the weapons of your driver, which are upgradable, like can be changed and stuff like that, and it can have cooldowns and stuff like that to where you actually do take out your enemies and hopefully get onto the leaderboards or whatever, that sort of thing. I think it's been out for a while in terms of I think it's been available for a little while.
24th of March.
Oh, okay.
Currently free to play.
Yeah.
With
So
battle passes and shit like that.
yeah. So as I said, I didn't get a chance to really get into that much detail. Now, what the other thing is really neat about this, you can see the things on the can't quite see them on the one that's on the stream, but just by the monitor, you can see there's little creatures sort of standing there, just at the bottom of that left-hand
the little
one.
figures down the bottom.
Folder. Yeah, you can actually make you can control what your little guy looks like, your little animated guy looks like, and then you can actually send it off to this 3D printing company, and they'll make your little creature for you.
Yep.
Which is a pretty neat little feature. So yeah, I'm not too sure. It's got, as I said, it's got some interesting mechanics to which it might not be good long term, so to speak. But
it's very much Vampire Survivors, but applied to a racing game.
Yeah, basically, like as I said, you don't control. I'm not. When I played it, like this person would not be driving and controlling the speed of the character or the driving. It's just driving itself. So there's obviously a lot of rubber banding going on when you're in this sort of thing. There are bots in this particular. There are bots in this one in this particular what I'm playing here, but you can control what you'll do with the your ability to take out your competitors basically with rockets and Mario Kart style things, but you're not controlling the drive itself. This game I played a little bit of, but didn't really dig because I think I think it looks really cool. It's a game called Conscript. This is a game based on which World War One? I think it was World War Two.
First World War. First World War.
First World War. Couldn't remember. Yeah. And you basically play as someone on the Allies, and you've been conscripted into the battle essentially. What I didn't like about it was if you look at it, it looks pretty good in motion. It's sort of pixel art sort of animation, but it's got some really slow animation to draw your shotgun out. You can sort of see in that.
Yeah.
You can sort of see in that shot where he's down the bottom here.
Playing off the notion that World War One weapons were fucking shit.
Yeah, like you can just see it's like it takes a bit of time to load and aim and stuff like that. And it was kind of it's deliberately slow, and that's what it was back then. But I wasn't a particular big fan of that when playing it. But yeah, they're the games I played. So they're the ones I played while I was there. I did play that for a little bit, as I said. They were an absolute bucket load there. And now what I'm going to do is cut back to my original video, which is not that.
It has a similar vibe to the survival horror game that I played late last year. The name's completely Signalis.
Okay. Yep.
It's got that sort of vibe to it, which I really enjoyed. Signalis. And this seems to be that idea of like a lone French soldier running trenches, things like that. That's got a really cool vibe to it, really cool idea.
Yep. So this video goes for about 7 minutes or so. So I'm just going to talk through what PAX was for this year. So this is the first PAX I've been to since 2019. So we're looking at 4 years since I was last there. They did do one last year. I had tickets for last year, but ended up not going because of the COVID. Had a spike. Coming for the spike was in Melbourne or Hobart or both. I can't remember which one it was now, but anyway, I decided to not go. So I had tickets for 3 days. I didn't end up going Friday because I had some family stuff I was doing in Melbourne, Victoria at the time, so I just skipped Friday, but went on Saturday and Sunday. This is the Saturday Q Hall. You've not been to the one at the convention centre, have you?
Not at the convention centre, no. The one I went to was at the showgrounds.
At the showgrounds. So this is the big massive Q Hall they've got now in the convention centre. So this can hold about, I believe, 10,000 people, I believe is what they've claimed. I've never been in there when it's been that big, or that full. And there is the show floor. This is basically a bunch of videos I've taken with my GoPro. So it'll have short 20 to 30 second clips, and then I'll flick to another one. So, but this is just me walking into the main floor on the Saturday morning. Where you first walked in on this through the queue hall is where all the indie stuff was.
Did you play any Super Mario Brothers Wonder?
Nah, the freaking queue for that was
Would have been massive.
Was massive, and I could not. No, was the short answer to that.
That's fair enough because
yeah,
it's out this week. Who cares?
Yeah, and this is the show floor. I'll just quickly pause this. So you've got oh damn it, nope, I've actually gone back to the beginning. That's not what I wanted to do. How can I control?
Wait, this is the beginning?
I think it is. Oh no, it's not. It's not.
Oh yes, there's a beach ball.
Yeah, this is actually on Sunday. For some reason, it's not letting me pause it. Okay. Because I'm on the wrong video. Let me go back. Quickly go back to here. That's the that's the flow. So the queue hall is where we were. The video, merch booth. All of the indie stuff is basically this little black, yellow and black section here. All the various booths, Nintendo. Who else was there? They were the big sort of show floor draw case, for the want of a better term.
Yeah.
Had a lot of the, MSI, Origin, after all those sort of PC manufacturers scattered in through here. Had your VR free play section, classic gaming section, arena, ESL, like your esports stuff, and all this part through here. I'm not sure why I'm even pointing at the screen. All this, to the left of all that is all the tabletop stuff, which is always getting, I think it's getting bigger every time I'm going to that, which is really cool. And then you got
one of the Kotaku articles I saw about, hey, here's what we saw at PAX and here's what's dope, listed a tabletop game called Wrong Answers Only. It sounded really, really cool. So I ordered that and I got that set coming, and it seems really amusing.
And then you've also even got the equivalent of the indie showcase, but for tabletop stuff, which is really intriguing as a concept.
Cool.
And then you've got console free play and the PC free play as well. Yeah, so it's a I think the layout from then up in the top section where all of your theaters and stuff were. The thing this year that was a bit disappointing for me was that the panel show schedule was pretty lackluster. It just didn't have anything particularly that really stood out to me. So this is on the Sunday morning. I went there early on the Sunday in order to get to the merch booth, because the merch booth had massive lines. I've heard 1 to 2 hour to 3 hour queues just to get to the bloody merch booth.
Sounds about right.
So I thought, no, I think I'll give that a skip and I'll go there early Sunday, in order to, because the merch booth is just inside this area. So basically I just went straight to it from here.
Hey, you caught someone else's phone. Good job.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see.
Did you end up getting in for Plucky Squire?
Yes, I did. And I'll get to Plucky Squire, and I'll get to that stuff in a bit. But
excellent.
That was probably the only highlight outside of the standard ones that the guys actually, running PAX and stuff actually do.
The one you told me about, I ended up having on the second screen while I was playing Bomb Rush, and I'm like, yo, this dude's dropping C-bombs, but it's a little too, hey, look at us, we're nerds, and then I was like, all right, I'm done.
That's what he is. That's what he does, and he's really fucking good. So yeah, I can understand why he would.
Oh, he was very energetic, very good presence, all that sort of stuff.
But that's how he is. So that's
I'm surprised you're because he dropped the C-bomb with quite some regularity. I know you're not a big fan of that word.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is, but yeah,
it is what it is.
But yeah, so this is on the Sunday morning. I think he ended up getting about half full on the Sunday in terms of the queue hall. You can see it goes to about there and then back into the room. Yeah, so basically,
really nice looking setup.
It's really good. It was really open, pretty good. It's like there's two main corridors down this side. You can just see the other one's on the other side of the Nintendo booth sort of thing. There's all the sort of queue stuff for the main theatre area. If I had found a particular person, which we'll get to, I think maybe in this particular section, I can't remember where I put it. That's John Robinson, the guy you were talking about. That's him.
Yes.
And I found this guy.
That's a lot of teeth.
I found this guy while I was wandering
this way. Motherfucker!
For those who don't know, this is Mike Jeffcott. He started this podcast in this group. Shit, how long? It must be at least
It's at least 3 houses ago for me.
Yeah, it's a couple of hours ago for you. It's a pandemic and more for us collectively. I think it was 2016. I think we started this thing. I think. Shit, wait a second. Let's go back. Let's get this right before we go any further.
There's no point going back through the podcast because they don't find like they haven't maintained perpetuity on the podcast app. So
No,
me
no,
yelling at that little bird to get off my shirt's not there anymore.
no, we do have a 2016 Game of the Year podcast we did, so we definitely had 2016 stuff we did.
I think we're coming close up on 10 years.
I think it's probably very close to 10 years. You're probably right, which is fucking scary.
Did you just run into him randomly, or did you hit him up and actually organise? Like,
well, I knew he was going to be there because he's normally an enforcer, and that's what was so fucking hard to find him. Because normally the enforcers are in bright yellow tops.
Yeah.
Like you can see them, but he wasn't. I didn't, because he normally hangs out. He's normally sort of. This is all the tabletop stuff.
Yep.
He's normally rostered on around the main theatre section. But I went a couple of throms through there just to, because that's where I had to walk through to get my hotel, so it wasn't as if I was going there to stalk him or anything. This is the PC gaming section, the PC free play section. I counted. I think I've estimated around 200 computers are sitting here, which is pretty impressive.
Fuck.
Pretty impressive setup. Each of them is individual, like it's a. I think it might be like a. I'm not too sure what they were, but they were pretty high end stuff. And this is the console free play. Yeah, so I was looking for Mike a couple of times, knowing he'd be in that rough area, but never found him until I was just walking through. At one point, I saw him talking to somebody in just regular clothes. Hey, and then when I found him went to look for him again Sunday, and again didn't find him until I was basically walked in to go into the final show for the night, and then we realised we were like, I just looked up as it's like two rows in front of me, sort of thing, in his regular clothes.
Oh, that's good.
Again, didn't reach. So yeah, so we had a bit of a chat Sunday, and he has agreed to come onto the podcast at some time in the future. So we'll get him up.
Yay!
He'll get him up. We'll get him onto that at some point in the next couple of weeks or so. But yeah.
Jeez, that'll be a test for you, trying to fucking organise it. Fucking. Sometimes it's rough getting two people doing this thing. Trying to get a third on here. Fuck. Should try and hit Paul up.
Yeah.
Did you see him, or was he running? Well, I have no idea if he's still trying to do readapt.
I have no idea. I was actually sort of thinking, maybe he's joined another, join another game development group, and he's just making something else. But I didn't see him there at all. I was looking for him to see if he was there, but yeah, we should try and hit him up. But yeah, if we probably should figure out what our 10-year anniversary would be roughly, and then maybe get on for that.
Reunion special.
Reunion special or some sort of thing. This is the indie showcase.
High school reunion.
Yeah. This is basically the indie area in Wall. Actually, I'm going to pause. So there's the Drifter Hollow ones. Let's go back a bit. So they actually had a New Zealand section here, which is just this bit here. So these 8 games here, 8 Baboos here. This is where Monster Racing League was, and Up to Par was on here as well. On the other side of the Dredge, and I don't think I recorded it because I don't think I captured any view of it, was a game. Did we? I'm just trying to think if we did this. I'm trying to think of the name of this thing.
While you're looking that up, Dredge actually has some DLC coming.
Yeah,
some ice or snow-based coming, which could be really cool.
So there's a game that I saw on the other side of the Dredge stand there. Is a game called Beyond the Stars. And this is the group that made this. This is the group that made the game Before We Leave, which I think we did.
Before We Leave.
Did we do that as a video? I think we did something like it.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's what
you did a demo. You did a yes. We have done a checkout of Before We Leave.
Yes, so this is the next game by the same group.
Balancing Monkey Games.
Yep, that's the one. And this is a game called
Beyond These Stars.
Beyond These Stars. It's a very similar game, but you're on the back of a space whale. So it's a really neat mechanic, really neat sort of thing. So that was I forgot to take. I thought I took video of it, but I couldn't find it when I went to look for it. So yeah, there's a New Zealand section here, which is quite a good little section. and we'll just pause there. So here's so to the right of what we're looking at is there's probably 8 or 9 sort of rows of double-sided booths here, little stands here.
Mm.
And this is some pretty impressive games here. And the thing is, like, I was like, there's probably close to 40 games or 40 developers in here.
Yeah.
Um, um, there's a couple of games I didn't actually get to play because I just couldn't get close enough to them to play them. Um,
Yep.
which do look pretty neat. I just pause right there. You can see there's Broken Roads. They had a pretty big booth there.
Indeed.
There's, I think, in this sort of middle section, there's a couple of big double-sided booths, and there's one that was like a tavern management game, which looked really, really good. But again, just couldn't get really close enough to it.
Is it that one right there?
Right there, I think it is actually. Right, just as I said, it's a bit blurry there, but it's right there. Called Tavern something. Can't quite remember what it's called.
Tavern Master. Tavern Keeper?
Might be Tavern Keeper. Yeah, let me have a. I'll know what we're looking at when I look at the. Oh, it's either Tavern Keeper or Tavern Master.
Tavern Keeper has the PAX banner on it.
Yeah, Tavern Keeper is the one I saw. Yeah, so all in all, I think was a pretty good. Like the show floor was really good. As with you would have seen it when you went to even 10 years ago, you would have experienced this problem. These booths that do fucking giveaways, where they get hundreds of people just clamoring around it, they want to make as much noise as you can, and they get a fucking t-shirt or something and block the fucking paths.
I didn't see that when I went.
Oh, okay. It's
World of Tanks took up at least a good quarter of the fucking show floor when I went.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so the biggest problem with these sort of events is these booths will do these sort of just random giveaways, where you'll just get hundreds or 200 people crammed around this booth. They'll block the path completely. The enforcers there doing their best to keep them contained a bit so people can still get around the fucking thing. And they just drive me up the wall, those sort of things. But yeah, is what it is. But yeah, in terms of so the show floor was pretty good, pretty easy, pretty relatively easy to get around those things aside. Lots of stuff to look at. I mean, I didn't do Sega at all. The actual.
Do you know what they were showing?
They had Sonic.
Superstars.
Sonic Superstars. What else did they have?
Did they have any of the new Like a Dragon stuff coming out?
They had a Like a Dragon. Yeah, they did have a Like a Dragon thing that again you'd have to queue for maybe 2 hours to get into, and not gonna do that.
I remember queuing for ages for Saints Row 4.
Okay, yeah. So they had that was inside a closed booth, so you couldn't see that unless you wanted to queue.
Yep.
There was one game I don't know if I actually got a picture of it in the end. Called, I'm just trying to find it. It was a horror game that I hadn't actually heard of. I don't think I got it in here. No, it was like I wonder if I looked at the map, I'd be able to find it again. Because it was a pretty big booth, and again, it was a one that you had to go into queue to get into, and you couldn't see it from the outside. It actually looked like it might actually be okay. Let's Expo Hall. If I look at the map, I might be able to see. Where's the map gone? That doesn't help. Expo Hall, tabletop. No. Oh, actually, there's a winners of the Indie Showcase. I'll think there's it. Expo Hall. I thought they had a map that was interactive, but I'm not seeing it at the moment. Unless they've got rid of it. Unless they got rid of the map off their website. I think they might have got rid of the map off their website. It's a bit of annoying.
Sinister?
No, what was it? It was. I'm just trying to see if I can find the name.
I'm just having a quick look through the PAX thing on Steam, seeing if I can maybe find it there. You said it's sort of horror-ish, did you?
Yeah, like it's definitely a horror game. It's like, yeah, I'm not seeing it. I wonder why they've got rid of the map. That's really irritating.
Because it's not relevant anymore.
Ah, there it is. Uh, It was a pretty big booth, actually. It was quite surprising how big it was.
You said it was in the expo hall, right?
In the main expo hall. I thought it was around the Nintendo booth. I thought that's roughly where I saw it. Let's see if I can see it in this video. And this is not making particularly good audio, but anyway.
Blackheart?
No, maybe.
It doesn't. Blackheart doesn't really seem very horror-y to me.
No. Wait a second. What's next to the Crunchyroll booth? That's what I'm looking at. I wonder if it's actually better on the app, because I think the app is interactive. If I can find the app. Yeah, I thought I had captured it on the video, not by design sort of thing, just because it was there.
I went through the PAX Oz Expo Hall 2023 listing that's on the Steam. It's on Steam. I couldn't really find anything that
unless it was a
really
demo.
You
wouldn't see it there unless it was actually the demo. Now I can the interactive map. No. Oh, bugger, go back.
Yes, no, nothing striking me as being obvious.
No.
Into the Dead?
That might be it. Into the Dead. That sounds about right. I'll know it if I see it. Yeah, that's the one. Yep.
It was in there.
It wasn't there. So
it was in that list. I just didn't look at it properly.
Yep. No demo there, but yeah, that was Pickpock. I just found them on the list. Although that sounds a bit weird. Yeah, this is like a again, I didn't play this one because it's not really a game I like, but it looked kind of, it might be okay-ish, like it's not full-on horror, but yeah, it was like a zombie.
I'm kind of getting somewhat State of Decay vibes.
A little bit, but I think it's more. I think it looked a bit more linear than State of Decay might be, or State of Decay is.
I mean, it's more side-scrolly than State of Decay.
Yeah, I think from what I could tell, it was a side-scrolly, maybe third-person occasionally, or maybe in first-person. But yeah, that might be something to keep an eye on going forward.
Word.
But it does look kind of interesting. So, yeah, so that's basically the big standout presentation was, as you sort of mentioned, was the Plucky Squire. They did a showcase event on the Sunday. Basically, I didn't realise. I knew that game was made in Australia, had an Australian connection. Basically, the guy that did the presentation, which I'll try and get his name because he'll be on the list of panel schedule. He's in Australia, and he's sort of collaborators are all around the world, basically, essentially.
So they're Oriing it.
Sort of like he's when they first started the development of the game, he was based in the UK and his colleague was in Japan. And his colleague has done, like, if you look at the list of what his colleague's done, he's done basically the art in pretty much every Pokemon game known to man.
There you go.
So he's got some bloody good artistic, chops. and he was based in the UK, and then he then moved to Australia, and I think his colleague then moved to the UK or something like that. So they're still massively apart from each other. But does he actually say their name? Okay, just says his name is Jonathan, but he was his developer. Yeah, so basically, yeah, they did a little showcase of how that game, when it started to what it is now, for the development period. So it went for about an hour. It was really, really impressive. I'd like to have thought they would have maybe made a VOD out of it. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it's like we've been selling the game for ever since we first saw it, basically. The both of us, so we're both going to get it for no doubt. But yeah, it was just really interesting seeing how this game started, and what it is now, and just what they did to get it to where it is now, where they've actually got hopefully a game coming out next year, which is looking really, really good. But yeah, it was really a very impressive little showcase of what that game is. In fact, they showed a game of one of sort of an early prototype, not of the Plucky Sky, but of another game that they thought they showed off to Devolver Digital, and Devolver Digital didn't like it at all, and then eventually that led into them doing the work on Plucky Sky. But if this game that didn't get picked up was still bloody good, so yeah, so hopefully
are they still doing anything with that, or
not? They didn't say they were, but it's something I think they can go back to relatively quickly. So
easy.
Yeah, so yeah, it was good to go to it. It was actually the first time in 3 or 4 years for me. One thing that was impressive, or better this year, might have been like this last year, as I said, it didn't go, was that they had the food options. Normally at these big conventions are pretty average. This time, really fucking good. They had food trucks in the venue, and it was really fucking good.
Sweet.
Really good food. Really good food. So yeah, they sort of nailed down the food stuff this time, so that's really good. So yeah, that was my little PAX review of it.
Sojourn.
Yeah, so it was
Travel diary.
Travel diary, yeah. But yeah, it was a good couple of days to go there. So let's quickly go into the beginning of the end. All right. Beginning of the end, we've got the YouTube channel, which has got lots of videos on it now. We've got like 200 odd videos we've done on various bits and pieces. We've got a lot of videos. We're going to be doing a couple. We might get through 1 or 2 today. This podcast has gone way longer than I thought it would. It's down to me jabbering about PAX. Probably my problem.
Yeah, good one.
And you've obviously got your Friday night fun stuff. You don't need Friday
night fun.
I've
tweaked the name a little bit.
So you can do a bit more stuff and just not limit yourself to fighting stuff, which is good idea.
Yes, I changed it from funsies to just fun.
Yep.
With an exclamation point.
Excellent. So yeah, we've got the games going up on that. We've got the checkout series we've got obviously the podcast one we're doing. That's about it, really. They're the main ones on
Twitch.tv/Enemy Starship when I go streaming shit.
Go streaming stuff.
Modern Warfare 3 checkout will be maybe up before this. We need to talk about when you maybe want to put it up.
We've got a couple to put up. We'll figure that out. So,
but there's that. Friday Night Fun will be next on Friday. I have no idea what I'm going to look at. I replayed Nuclear Blaze this Friday. Gone. Played the Hold My Beer mode on that, and that was fucking hard.
Yeah, like we've got a couple of videos we want to do today, which we may want to get through. If those demos are still functioning this time next weekend, we might do them again. We might have another go at them. But there are games that we've got coming out on the horizon that we'll probably get some sort of Guernsey at some point in the next couple of weeks once they become actually available for real. But until then, thank you, Steve, for your time.
Thank you.
We'll be back, theoretically, all things being equal, in a fortnight for episode 289. The Should Have Played This Game podcast. Thanks again for watching, and goodbye.
And for listening.
And listening too. Oh, by the way, that video that you wouldn't have seen if your podcast is going to go up as a separate video on the YouTube channel, so it'll be linked in the show notes of the podcast, so be able to look at it if you...
You can hear the nice chill music in the background.
Yes, I did find some music there I thought was actually quite good. So, yep.
Hmm.
Bye bye. Thanks for listening and watching.